The way this is going to work this evening is whoever's speaking or giving their presentation will be seated where I'm currently seated for the presentation. And then we'll go back to our socially acceptably distanced chairs. So let's call the meeting to order. For those of you who have logged in, we appreciate it. Please be sure to mute so we can control and have some order here in the meeting. Obviously, it's August 12th, 6:30 p.m. The meeting is called to order, and we're going to do a roll call. So, Mr. Secretary.
Kayola. Absent. Jim.
Here.
Greg. Here. Lee. Here. Ross. Here. Mary Ann.
Here.
Phil.
Here.
So everyone except Kayola is here. Kayola is unavailable this evening, so we'll carry on without him and do our best. Let's begin by, if somebody's not muted. Anyway, if you'll be sure to mute, we sure would appreciate it. We're going to begin with an approval of the July 8th minutes. We've all read those on the board. Does anybody have any comments? All right, everyone here is saying good. So with that being said, we'll approve the minutes. Thank you, Lee. What about the agenda? We have a printed agenda, which is also available online. So you should call for the approval of the minutes. Lee, we need to call for the approval of the minutes. Thank you, Greg.
Jim.
Yes.
Greg. Yes. Lee. Yes. Ross.
Yes.
Mary Ann.
Yes.
Phil.
Yes. All right, that's a unanimous yes. All right, are we ready to go on? That was for the minutes. How about the approval of the agenda? Do we have to roll call that, Greg? No? Okay, the agenda is approved. Let's move on to the report of the officers, directors, and standing committees. The president's report, I'm going to handle that because our president is unavailable. We're making progress on many fronts. Primarily, things have slowed down. As we'll soon hear, we're still waiting for approval on the roads, but there's other extensions to that report. So otherwise, I have nothing to report. The president's away. Hopefully, he'll be able to be here next month. Treasurer's report. Greg, come on up.
Okay, on the financials, as of July 31st, our total bank accounts, $468,712.63. Our expenses for July were $16,955.51. And these are posted on the website for everybody to see. I actually have good news. The SBA loan, I just talked to them again Friday, I think, last Friday. And we thought it was going to be approved already, but apparently when he forwarded, it got hung up in some queue somewhere. So anyways, it's out of the queue and on its way again. So hopefully within a week or so, we'll have a yes on that. The one thing that I did find out with that, though, they won't give us 1 cent of that money until we use all of the money from the FEMA grant. So, and that's fine. And we just have to keep up on it so we don't lose the thing again. Another good bit of news on the payroll protection program loan that I thought we were going to have to pay back because I couldn't find anything on it. Fortunately, they called the office and got in touch with them. They told me what I needed to do. I filed the request for forgiveness and it looks like it should go through. We'll have an answer within 60 days on that. So that could be $17,000 we still get to keep. Also, the security grant that we paid back to the county last month, Ashley and I have talked a couple of times and she's agreed to reissue that to us. So that's in the process now of going through whatever needs to go through, and it has to go from there to the prosecutor's office and all over the place, and then we'll get the money back again.
How much?
Well, it's gonna be the same as before, 15,000, but they do it in stages. So like 13,500, and then we get the balance, I think, after we use it. But I think we'll likely have to use exactly what it said in the first one, but I won't know until I get that contract from him. But it'll be like security cameras, neighborhood watch signs and stuff like that.
Clarification, this is the security grant that the previous board defaulted on.
Yes, then I had to pay back last month, but now Ashley is going to get it back for us. Ashley Kirkowitz, our county council person.
And the default was because the previous board failed to report, do any reports, or even though they reported to us that they had spent some of the money.
Yeah, there was no record of any
Right.
expenditures whatsoever.
Did everyone hear that adequately? Pete, I can't take a call because we're driving the meeting on a personal hotspot from the phone.
Okay, any questions?
I have a question, please. With regard to the approved amount of money that's already been committed, and now hopefully the SBA loan, that's enough to meet or comes very close to meeting
Yes.
the entire thing, so we'll be able to pay for the entire thing.
Yeah, so as soon as we get the approval on the SBA, then we should be covered. I think except for down at the end of Kahukai, because we only have any information on that one. Okay,
Thanks, thank you, sir.
Are the financials on posted?
yeah, they're posted.
Architectural committees. Ross, would you like to come up, please? The architectural committee report will be presented by Ross.
So for the month, architectural plans, we approved one set of plans for a brand new home. It's an HPM home going in on Kahukai between Nohea and Lawana. It meets all the criteria, square footage. It's a one-story home, has carport, looks like it's going to be a very nice home, and already the owner of the lot, he owns 3 acres and he's developed them extremely nice. If anybody's driven down there, they've seen it. He's really doing a quality job. So his plans are approved. Those were ones that were submitted to the previous board that we've never got back from the other board. And so that homeowner was gracious enough and wanting to follow the rules. He provided another set of plans and they're approved. We continue to work on our letters. All of the letters that we've been working on will more than likely go out on Monday. I was hoping to get them out tomorrow, but I've been quite busy this month with company and everyone's had a lot of company this summer, so trying to do it. We've also been working on a lot of the squatters, and we've had actually some pretty good successes, and so that's good to know. One of the things I'd like for everybody to know is if you have questions or concerns, would you please go through the office? I'm still seeing too many things on social media, and quite truthfully, I don't have time to answer social media and look on LCA and my emails. I mean, we're getting it's coming from too many directions. And so if your concerns, your complaints, your questions go through Kim in the office, you can do it by email, you can do it by phone, you can do it in person. That way she can turn over the information to us right away. And it works a lot faster because if it's social media, first of all, it goes haywire. So that's my only request. We're trying to work on anything and everything that anybody brings to our attention, but it all takes time. So I'm feeling really good. We've done a lot this month and we'll continue.
I got a text that Rod had contact with you about some street painting.
The street painting is in a letter. and that's been addressed. It will go out. Unfortunately, all of the
Thank you.
backdate because we were trying to keep Keola in the loop. We weren't trying to do anything that was behind anybody. We were trying to keep everything. And so because of his medical condition right now, he's agreed that we don't have to go through him with the letters right now. And so Lee and I have been working on letters and getting them.
Did you use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Huh?
Please mute yourself.
Diane Healy told me to go to the link. It's
I know that. You said go to the website.
once I did the website and clicked it,
I don't know.
you won't have.
Okay, did you use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
I didn't have to enter a code.
Well, whoever it is speaking, please mute yourself.
The
So-
host can always mute as well. So
I don't know how to do that from here. So sorry. All right, please proceed. Was that it?
So the letters are the known CCNR violations or questions, because like I stated in previous meetings, we have no files, no records to go. So we've been starting from square one. And so in order to be fair, we're addressing everything that's brought to our attention or that we can obviously see and go after that first. And that's our starting point. So
How many letters, Ross?
right now there's about 25.
25.
Yes. And it takes a lot of time to do all that because it's a long time since I've done secretarial work and typed letters and stuff. And then I get kind of spaced out. And so Lee's been really good at correcting my grammar or my speech. So, but I think we're making progress. Definitely we're getting some of the bad elements out of our neighborhood. And that's our goal, to get it back to what it was 5 years ago would be just remarkable. So there's a lot of good things happening. Michael's going to give a presentation on what he's been doing. And I also know just from what I see in the neighborhood, the job that Michael's doing is the streets are starting to look like Leilani again. I'm pleased. So.
Thank you so much. I have a request in the chat room to let people know how to get to the agenda. I had no difficulty getting that from the home page. Do you remember how to get to that?
Go to LCA, look at the menu drop down and go to LCA agenda.
And it has the agendas for all of the previous meetings. This one is very similar. The differences are in the content on unfinished business. Otherwise, we're following the same basic format as we have for the past few months. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, the Aloha Committee report. I think we've got some good news coming.
All righty. We had our first meet and greet this last month. It was good fun, very informal. We had watermelon cookies and plant giveaway and just talk story. Met a lot of new neighbors, surprisingly, with the hiccup of the time of day, you know, it was to happen. Was omitted, but we had several show up and I hope to do it again. We hope to do it again in October. And that's kind of it for the Aloha Committee. Anyone can join our group, share the love, and come talk story with us again in October. I believe we'll post it on the website also.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I'd just like to make a comment about the Aloha Committee and things in general. It sure seems to me, especially from attending the monthly garage sale, a lot of younger couples are moving in. We're getting children, and so the demographic is kind of flipping a little bit in the neighborhood, and I'm excited about that. So again, Michael, you're going to be up The playground is heavily used and we just actually love that here. So Michael, your turn. So now we're going to have the report from the maintenance manager. And Michael, if you didn't hear, you got a compliment for things looking so nice again.
Thank you, thank you. All right, good evening, Leilani residents. So along with my normal daily, monthly routine here in the park, I've also finished the monthly mowing on the shoulders. I'm currently also in the signposts right now. That's basically rush treating it. So if anybody notices it turning white, it's because of the rush treatment is doing its job basically. As soon as that takes its toll, then I'm gonna go back and spray it with some galvanized compound, get it back to new again. The shoulder scraping, I started it and finished it. Thank God the tractor handled it the whole time, but there's a few areas that I have to go and visit again because of all the pig diggings that's throwing on the road again. But I'll get to that in the next few days. I've been spot spraying herbicides on the cane grass spots, just to hold it down for the time being until we get our sidearm back.
It's working very well.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's been holding up pretty good so far. Ranger Pro, basically, yeah. The sidearm, yes, we got our quote back as soon as we get our approval. According to the office there, it will take about 1 to 2 weeks for the parts to come in, about a week and a half to do the repairs. So we should get it back hopefully the next month or so. And then I'll continue jumping back on that again.
And by the way, folks, we're going to deal with that in just a few minutes, but we do have a quote and it's on the agenda to be approved. So we're making progress on those fronts.
Yep.
Michael's doing a good job. Thank you,
Thank
Michael.
you, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, questions?
Did you get any quotes yet for the fire ants?
No.
Oh, yes, we did.
Oh, Jim.
Yes, we did.
Fire ants.
This is a question for those that didn't hear about the fire ants. We got a quote for doing just the building and the exterior here out along the roadway. Another one for the playground, and then one for doing everything, including the complete 12-acre perimeter. And it was, that quote is $450 per quarter. If we just want to do the building, it's 150. Anyway, I'll send the details because I didn't do that.
Jim, what company?
I just call him, it's Marvin. I don't,
Marlon?
yeah.
Independent, yeah.
I'll talk to Marlon. I think we need better than that.
Okay, we're gonna try,
We need a better deal than that.
we're gonna try and
But,
negotiate a better price.
We have fire ants in our storage. Went Saturday market, the tables were covered with red ants and receptacles. And I never had them on, they were on the carts and on the tables. And so it was, I didn't even exactly know how to handle that. So they were luckily dyed with bleach, but we were washing every table with bleach and stuff. So
I did get some ammo and throw it in the sheds, so hopefully they've been chewing that stuff up.
So yeah.
So we will compare Marlon's quote against the others that we've used in the past and see. But at the current time, 3 of the people on the board use Marlon, and we're all pleased.
Yes, he keeps it on.
Yeah, he keeps everything going. And he'll come back if there's a reoccurrence within the 3 months, he comes back, no charge.
But we still need to get 2 more quotes.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. All right, on the agenda, we're down to the neighborhood watch, and that's going to be followed by road repair updates. And we're going to have Greg come up because he can do both of those. Before Greg gets started, we have on our chat room, when we have a minute, I would like to offer a suggestion for fire ant treatment. And Heather, if you'll send that to us or contact us, we'd be very interested. Thank you so much. Okay, Greg.
Okay, as far as neighborhood watch, I don't have a lot of detail. I know there's been some good activity going on in the last few days, and maybe Lee can update us a little on that.
We actually had a report of a squatter moving in to a home. It's a known drug addict, and he has got warrants out. I posted on social media, the gentleman, he was residing on Moku Street. And anyway, we have since, I don't know, 5-6 times responded in force to try to locate him and detain him for the police department. If you look at Leilani Estates, if you see the gentleman, he's usually riding around on a bicycle. If you see him, do not approach him. He is armed with a hatchet and a knife. He never displayed it, but just call the police. 911 and just tell the dispatcher or whoever answers that this is the alibi fugitive. And they're very interested in contacting him because he's threatened a couple of people when we tried to remove him from a house. We're very successful on getting the forms filled out with that gives Leilani Community Association and Neighborhood Watch permission to call the police on their behalf. And if you're, one thing that's come up is if you're planning on going away for a week or a month or going to the mainland, please stop by the office. Kim has those forms. And whether it's Leilani or Neighborhood Watch or your neighbor, please fill that form out, because without that form, the police are not allowed to enter anyone's property unless they actually see a crime being committed. So it's important that we get those forms in. They're good for a year or a specified time. And I just want to reach out to all the community members that I really appreciate all the people that have been supporting us, especially in the 2 or 3 homes that we've had issues with. We've got 2 or 3 more that we're working on. And I'll just go out on a limb and say, if you're a low-life squatter, your days are numbered in Leilani. We're going to come after you. We're going to come after you with a vengeance. And that's it. So we're kicking butt. And so far, Leilani 3, squatters 0. Thank you.
Okay, just
I hope everybody heard that. Thank you so much, Lee.
just to give a little more information as far as, I talked to the police the other day, and especially that one in section 1, because I was asking, it looks like it's deserted now, but I still see the guy on Leilani every once in a while. But anyways, what the officer told me is they have a number of things on the go in Leilani, but they're not able to talk to us about it because they don't want it to get out. So they're working on things also. So hopefully we're going to get some improvement there also. Yeah. Okay, now back to road recovery. Again, more good news. On July 28th, we had 2 approvals that we were really concerned about, and those 2 are now approved. On the 28th of July, we got the approval from NPDES, which is the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. That was one we're concerned about. That one's now approved. And the real critical one was from the State Historic Preservation Division. They gave the approval to obtain the county grading permit. The grading permit was going into the county this week. So what's going to happen now, and it could happen quickly depending on Glover's schedule. As soon as it's approved, Glover picks the permit up and then they schedule it. So I'm going to wait to maybe next week and call them and see. It's kind of hard for them to give any kind of estimate because they don't know what's going to, come on their books before our permit comes out. But all the things we're worried about have happened, and the grading, they don't think it's going to be an issue now.
And with the SBA loan hopefully coming in, like I said, will be covered there. So they should be able to just proceed.
Right.
As soon as we find out, Greg and Keola will post where the activity will begin, because there's gonna be some big equipment and lots of movement going on once we begin. But not to get ahead of ourselves, we still could be several weeks away based upon their schedule.
Right.
Thank you. There are no special orders to be approved. So now we're down to expenses to be approved. And as most people know, for anything that's more than $500, it requires board approval. And we have just two of those this month. Repair of the sidearm tractor, which again, that's what we have. Michael succeeded in getting that. He had to go personally to pick it up, but we finally got the quote. It's for $5,780.27. And for those looking online, you may note that in parentheses, it says quote, because it says very clearly, this is just a quote. They may run into other things while they're doing the repairs, but at the current time, it's $5,780.27. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve it.
Ross made a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Greg seconds. Lee?
Jim,
Yes, approved.
Greg,
Yes.
Lee, yes. Ross,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Phil.
Yes.
And by the way, both Michael and Greg, and I guess I too, find this, although that's a lot of money, $5,700, it's considerably less than we all anticipated it would be. That piece of equipment's about $165,000 for a new sidearm tractor. It's a big, expensive piece of gear. All right, we also have attorney's fees for the months of April and May, and they total $1,464.82. That's not very much for those people that know. Attorneys bill by the hour, so $1,464.82. Do I have a motion to have that approved?
Make a motion.
Ross made a motion. Mary Ann seconds.
Jim,
Yes?
Greg,
Yes.
Lee, yes. Ross,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
yes,
Phil.
No.
Okay, no?
No.
All right. Okay,
And the reason for that, if I may explain, is this is the first time that I've seen this. It's a little confusing. I would like to review it before I have it.
okay. It's majority rule, so it's approved, but pending. Phil will give you, as far as I'm concerned, time to look at that, and if anything substantive comes up.
No, if anything comes up, I'll bring it up.
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Well, we'd like to probably get the attorney paid, but.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll review those. All right, now we have a report on crime in Leilani. Is that going to be Lee or Greg?
I think we already did that.
I think we kind of did that too, and as Lee, to just give everybody a quick summary, I like the way he phrases that, Leilani 3, squatters 0. So we literally run some people out.
There was a stolen vehicle earlier this month. Need to stress, take your keys out of the ignition when you go in, even if it's behind the locked gate. There was a vehicle stolen. We don't know the particulars, but no one said anything. But I know that model vehicle because I drive one, and you can't get that vehicle out of the driveway without the keys. So take your keys out of the car when you leave it. Don't leave it for the squatters, the druggies, or anybody else. Thank you.
Lee, do you have any comment on the abandoned cars that periodically appear here in Leilani?
I think Sarah is working on beautification. She's gotten some, I'm not up on that.
Well, neighborhood watch that we take the cars and they're not moved. Or get what they call.
Okay,
Normally they get tagged and get taken up to the top of section 1.
so Neighborhood Watch is responsible. If we see something, we tag it. If the vehicle's still there the next day, we report it to Kim, call, and then we call the police and it's taken on from there. All right. So that's the crime in Leilani Estates. On the agenda, it says amending the CCRs, and I have nothing that
That's
we,
another, Joel and I are working on, so that's an in process. I mean,
it's an in process. Keola and Greg are working on that one, so it'll continue to be on the agenda, and when there's news to report, we'll report it. All right, is there any other new business? Yes, Mary Ann's raised her hand. Yes, ma'am?
I would like to make a motion or discussion about getting a newsletter put out this month, hopefully. I know that Greg and Kim usually work on that, which is great.
The only one that got anything from was you. So you and I were the ones.
So I would like a report from each one of y'all.
Okay,
Maybe Greg and Kim, and I'm volunteering to do any kind of handwork, mailing wise.
okay, I hope everybody can hear that. Mary Ann wants to go back to publishing a periodic newsletter. And she has just encumbered those of us on the board to give some input because only she provided input, I think. So we will do that. And is this something that the membership also can submit? No, it's
a
just,
newsletter from the board, and it should be from committee heads, so, and it's gotta be brief, because you know what our newsletter looks like. It should be kept brief but informative. But get it, I mean, we usually send it out in August, so we're running behind.
all right, we usually send it out in August, so we're a little bit behind, but we'll get on that. Greg, if I could, any member that has any concerns, if they'll contact somebody on the board, it may be something that we'll look at and see what we can do.
Through Kim.
Wait, the newsletter is a newsletter coming from the board to the membership.
Okay,
So it's
Okay.
from the board.
so put my idea aside. It'll be news from the board. Okay. All right, now we'll open up, and I need to go back over here to the computer, to the chat. If anybody has anything or would like to ask any questions in the meantime, let me see. A person screaming, gunshots, they do not need to see, but it's reported they can. I don't know what that means. I.e. legally, the police can enter if the report involves someone in danger, is what it says here. So this has to do with.
That doesn't have to do with squatters, so.
Okay, squatters is a different thing according to Ross, which it certainly is. There's an extra ugly one for, I think this may be a car for over 2 weeks on Moku, corner Moku and Malama. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Sometimes it takes a while because it's a whole process they have to go through, and it can take a while. There's 3 people that work in that department for the whole island. So
Yeah.
it takes time.
We've,
Actually did pretty fast.
Yeah,
It
it just
actually
depends.
fast.
Sometimes it's gone, and other times it kind of drags out.
so for those that didn't hear that, there's only 3 people on the whole island responsible for removing abandoned vehicles.
They have to come out and verify the vehicle before they will send the tow truck. So someone has to physically come out from the county office, and that's for the whole island. And then they will tag it and say, yes, this is approved. And then they order the tow truck, and then hopefully it's still there when they come to get it.
Yeah,
Well, they
so
know where to go up the top of the line.
So you may see 2 tags, one from Neighborhood Watch, which would be the first one, and then one from the police when they come out, and then hopefully shortly thereafter, but we're talking, it could be 3 to 5 days or even more, but they will haul off the vehicles. We can see your hand raised. I don't see any hands raised. Pete is raising his hand. Okay, Pete. You're very, very, oh, I see. It's very dark, and Heather also. All right, let's go call on Pete first. Pete, you can unmute.
Hey, there we go. I think so.
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Okay. So a week ago, sometime the end of last week, I live on Kahukai between Moku and Kapono, and I heard some stuff up on the road. There was a vehicle with a truck, with a tractor, that was dumping in a ditch on the opposite side of the road from my property, asphalt. I said, who gave you the approval to do that? And he said, so this gentleman who was evidently hired by the LCA, and I would like to know who hired and approved the tarring work or asphalt work from the LCA, because I doubt that the county has anything to do with Kahutai. But in any event, there's at least a couple of yards of community pay, I presume, community paid asphalt that has been dumped down a ditch on the opposite side of the road from my house on top of a set of bananas. Now,
Okay.
that property, I know the gentleman wants those bananas to be sacrosanct on his property, the gentleman across the street from me. And I wonder why this was done. And I have another comment that I'd like to make after I get a direct answer to this direct question.
Pete, did you get the license number of the truck?
I did not.
That's what you should have done, because that's just illegal dumping. We didn't do
By the
it.
way,
so
this gentleman
if you
said
have
that
got a
he was
picture,
authorized to do this.
There would be a way to follow up if you had a picture. That's not something that we can even address because we don't know anything about it. That's not something we did.
You
And
must have
so-
hired and authorized someone to do some work on the road
No, that's
with
not
tar
true.
or asphalt.
That's why if you had a picture that we could follow up on it, we did not do that.
Pete, we haven't authorized any work on any roads so far. We're still waiting. That's what we're getting the permits for. But we'll look into that. I'll go down and take a look myself tomorrow.
You can look, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but there's asphalt on the side of the road dumped into a hole opposite my house. Jim, you know where that is.
Yeah, I'll come down and look, and Michael too, perhaps. Michael's giving us a thumbs up. We'll go down and look and see what we can do. But in the future, not just for Pete, but for anybody, if they see any illegal dumping,
Suspicious activity.
any suspicious activity, and it's very much like the squatters, Pete, the number one excuse I think the squatters give is they have permission to be there, and most often they don't. So anyway, we'll look into it. What's your second question before we go to
My
the
second question is, it was I'm sorry, excuse me, am I interrupting somebody?
Well, I just want to make a comment, just to reiterate, LCA has not authorized anyone to do any paving work. And if they told you that, they lied.
Okay, thank you very much. But this is a crew of 4 or 5 people with a front loader, a truck with a dump on it, and another truck being able to transport the people. So it was, somebody maybe had some, a driveway paved or something, and the company just wanted to get rid of the excess. I don't know, but my assumption was that it had been approved. My incorrect, assumption was that it had been approved by the LCA.
Yeah, Pete, just so to keep you updated, when we scrape the roads, actually get to work on Kapono and Moku, we're going to be creating a pile of that debris at the end of the association here. So
Natural grass and debris, compostable material, I have no problem with. That's what nature made, not tar. Oil and water don't mix. In any event, my other comment or question is, it's been my understanding that meetings require a week ahead notice to the membership on all acceptable media, so that the membership, we only have 13 people here, because no one announced that there was a meeting. No one, except I did. Then you chimed up, Jim, with the password, which I neglected to add. I thank you for that. But why was it not announced a week earlier?
Okay, Lee's going to address that issue.
It's been posted ever since last month on the website that tonight was the meeting. We have no control over governor doing mandates at the last minute.
June
As soon as
25th.
we got the- Would you let me explain before you interrupt me? So as soon as we were told by the governor and the civil defense, we changed our meeting format to Zoom. And we had a Zoom password that was incorrect. We corrected it, but we gave a 24-hour notice. But the meeting was scheduled all the way from last month on the homepage of the website. It's also on the calendar for the next 2 years.
Pete, so we just reacted. We'll do better, but yes, it's always on the website.
Right, and I bet you got the data on how many people maneuver that website and probably realize that it's not used very often. But in any event, I think that it behooves the board, for transparency's sake, to remind the geriatrics, myself included, that things are about to happen and that maybe we should be able to plan ahead. It would just seem to me common courtesy. Thank you.
All right.
Can I respond to
Thank you,
that?
Pete.
Oh, no.
All right, let's go to Heather. Heather, you need to unmute. Thank you, Pete.
Aloha mai kako. I just got out, or prior to this meeting, there was the Puna resilience meeting. Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Pokies are loud. Yeah, so I was just curious if the board will be working on any of the committees. Do you know, like, are we keeping track at all of, what's going on with the Puna resilience action team effort? Or Kilauea recovery and resilience. I'm sorry, I'm like using the wrong names here.
Kilauea recovery and resilience. Anybody know?
I was gonna listen in, but I couldn't get the Zoom information for it.
Mary Ann was going to, but she couldn't get the Zoom information. So if you have, Heather, if you'll keep us posted, or in the future say, guys, please follow up on this, at least send a notice to Kim and she'll notify us, and then we'll try to participate.
Yeah, okay, great.
Thank you so much. I don't see any other hands. So Heather, you raising your hand again? Okay, I guess not. Does anybody have anything else? If not, we'll adjourn. All right, the meeting's adjourned. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. We'll see you next month.